Hey everyone, welcome to my Facebook Live. For those of you who may be watching for the first time on my YouTube channel, my name is Jen Polson, and I am an energy coach. And I usually like to explain a little bit about what that means because some people have never heard of an energy coach before. But what I do is I help people overcome like the subconscious blocks that are keeping them stuck. So what does that mean exactly, a subconscious block? The way that I can explain it, the easiest way that I can explain it is when you want to do something, like you want to overcome something, you want to better yourself, you want to figure out a different way of doing things, but you don't know how. And you try, but you keep falling back, and it's kind of like a pattern that happens, and you know you need to make some changes, but you just don't know where to start, or you don't know how to keep going. And so what happens is we're trying to fix things from a conscious level, conscious brain level, and our conscious brain will only take us as far as our subconscious belief system has developed. And a lot of times we have some negative programming from our childhood that is telling us in a really subtle way that we're not worthy and deserving of success, or we're not worthy and deserving of happiness, or you're not worthy and deserving of looking that good. Or having that much money, or whatever it is, or being that patient or good of a parent. Whatever it is in your life where you're feeling stuck, there's usually some negative programming that you accumulated during childhood, and it's not your fault that it's there. But the fact is, and research has shown that it is there, and we can overcome that. And so that's what my job is I help people just overcome those things that keep them stuck from being able to move forward. That's kind of the short version. I hope you guys get that, for those of you who are new. If you don't have any clue of what I'm talking about, don't worry, it's okay. I didn't get it at first either, but please feel free to reach out to me and ask questions, because when I found out about this kind of coaching and this kind of inner work, it totally changed my life. It changed, most importantly, my relationship with God. And it has taken me from a place of being fearful, and living my life and doing the right things out of fear, to knowing that God is on my side, and I want to do the right things, or I want to do good things, because I know that that's what makes me happy. I know that's what makes God happy, and it has changed the way that I perceive life and perceive myself, and perceive God and how He shows up in my life. So that being said, hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming on. And so today what I want to talk about is coming from a place from your heart and leading with your heart. So a second ago I shared with you that I spent a lot of my life coming from a place of fear, doing the right things or trying to make the right choices, so that out of fear of a consequence, instead of a confidence in knowing that my direction was the right direction, and I coming from a place of love and connection. And so I was in a session with somebody the other day, a client of mine, and this whole idea of coming from a place of love and being in your heart came up, because a lot of times we get really stuck in our heads. We're trying to think things through. We're trying to figure it out logically. We're trying to make the right decisions because it makes sense. But we have this whole thing going on here with our hearts, and that's the place where a lot of times, you know, our intuition or that those spiritual nudges come when we're in our heart instead of trying to figure things out on our own just through our logic. And so so we were talking about that and talking about how it would feel to live life coming from a place, you know, from love and in our heart space. And so we came up with just a little visualization, and it just kind of came to me as we were talking. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. And so the visualization plus a little exercise that you can do just to practice staying in your heart space. And so first of all, you want to just go into your heart space. And the way that you do that is just to be still. And sometimes, you know, I'll just do that, you know, before I wake up, or not before I wake up, as I wake up in the morning and I'm laying in bed and I'm just, you know, taking a few breaths and thinking about the day. And instead of worrying about what's on my list for the day, you know how you do that? You think about everything that's happening that day and you've got your schedule and how am I going to get everything done? That's all head talk. Okay, so what I do is I stop that and I just allow myself to let go of that head talk and just focus on feeling love. I focus on connecting with God and just feeling his love. And this morning it was so sweet. Like I just felt that so strong. I almost didn't want to get up out of bed, but I knew I had a child waiting for me to help her get ready for school. So I dragged myself out of bed. But it was, when I take the time to do that, it's so sweet, and it changes like my whole outlook on the day and my whole outlook on life. And so you just want to take some time and be still and really focus on connecting. And then what I suggested to this client was to listen and ask, you know, ask your heart, what's your message for today? And some ideas might come to you. Like I'm going to give you some ideas of possibilities of what you might hear, because it might be the first time that you're thinking about, well, what message would my heart give me? But it could be something like, you know, just trust me today, or you're enough, or I love you, or you're loved, forgive, you are whole, bless somebody else's life today, let go. So it could be, you know, just something simple like that. So if you have a minute and you are watching this, you know, just put your hand over your heart for a second. This is a really great way to connect with your heart. And what this does is it actually stimulates the oxytocin in your brain, so that when you're like way in your head and being super logical, that can cause a lot of stress. And so putting your hand on your heart triggers that oxytocin, and that's kind of that feel-good chemical in your brain, and you can get into your heart space. And so just take a second and put your hand over your heart and just feel what that feels like, and be still and quiet for a minute. And just take a second and ask your heart what your message is for today. And if you feel inspired, I would love for you to post that in the comments. And yeah, that would be so amazing. So if you want to do that either now, if something is coming to you now, or later when you have a chance to be quiet and just listen, that would be amazing. So everyone, go ahead and take a breath. And I really just want to have that intention that we all connect to our hearts. And also have that intention of just connecting to allowing God to speak to our hearts and being open to that. Yeah, take another breath on that. Okay, good. And then let's connect everybody to just trusting your heart, that what you hear in and what you feel in your heart is guiding you in the right direction. And also another important part of this too, we're going to connect everyone, that everyone wants to be connected to this, like at some level, whether it's conscious or not, but really connecting to being able to discern what is coming from your heart. I know sometimes I wonder, like, is that my thought? Is that God's thought? Is that divine, is that a divine prompting, or is it just some random idea popping through my head? Just let go of all of that worry and fear, like that you're in your head when you're worrying about it. So just come back to that heart space and just allow yourself to feel, and then just go for it. You can never go wrong by following a thought or a prompting that you're not sure if it's yours or coming from God. It's better not to wonder and just go for it and let go of the outcome. That's my personal opinion anyway. Okay, so I wanted to share a little exercise that you can do to really practice listening to what your heart's telling you, okay? Because sometimes we don't understand, let's see, how do I want to say that? Sometimes we don't understand, or we're not connected to what's going on in our heart because our head is so loud, okay? So you guys have heard me talk before that our brain is designed to keep us safe. So if we're doing something where we're stretching ourselves a little bit, our belief system, our subconscious belief system, those beliefs that we developed as young children that get kind of stuck, that our brain is designed to keep us safe, like emotionally, physically. It doesn't want us to feel pain. Okay, and so when you are when you're doing something new, or you want to speak from your heart, your brain also oftentimes sends a message like, hey, if you say that, that person's going to judge you. If you say that, you're going to make somebody mad. If you invite this person to a class that you're going to give, they might reject you, so your brain's doing all these tricks, okay? So I wrote out this little card. I don't know how that's going to turn up. I don't know if that's backwards or not with the way you guys see it, but this is what I recommended my client do, is make this little card where you have this part for your heart and this part for your head. Okay. Gotta get coordinated with the camera there. And you want to, every time you take an action, or every time you go to speak up, every time you have like a thought about a circumstance, I want you can keep track of, okay, I just had a judgment about myself. I just had a judgment about somebody else. That's your head. Okay, that's your head trying to keep you stuck, keep you holding back from moving forward. So if you are, let's say, I work with a lot of doTERRA business builders. So let's just say, you're planning a class that you want to teach and you want to invite some friends to it. But you start having these thoughts like, oh, what if everybody says no? What if they think I'm going to be pushy? What if they don't like what I have to say? All of those things are coming from your head, okay? So you can mark that down, like just make a little check mark or an X when you have a thought like that. And then, so if your thought is, people are going to think you're crazy for doing that, okay? What I want you to do is take a second and stop and then get into your heart. So put your hand on your heart and say, and ask your heart, you know, what's the message? Like, what's the truth? Okay, my head's telling me that people are going to think I'm crazy. What does your heart say about that? And your heart might say, who cares? You love what you do. It might say, but there are people waiting for you. Or it might say, have some patience with your child. Or it might say, just forgive that moment and let it go. It might say, you can do it. You've got this. You're amazing. You know, our heart is going to tell us the truth. And so, anyway, this is just a little exercise I'm going to put in my book that I am working on, compiling. And anyway, I wanted to share that with you because it was just such a powerful little exercise and realization that came up for this client of mine the other day. So does anyone have any questions, any suggestions? I think I saw someone, let's see, someone shared what their heart told them. Oh, you are loved. I am enough. I love that. So I would love to hear any other feedback that you guys have as you try this little exercise. Let's see. Let's go ahead. I want to connect everybody to that feeling like that you are enough. Because that's something that comes up so much with my clients. And it really is a distraction, and it really holds you back when you don't feel like you're enough. And it keeps you from speaking your truth. It keeps you living in fear. It keeps you from, you know, doing those things that you really want to do, and showing up in a way that you're meant to show up. Like, so everyone go ahead and take a breath, and let's just release any fear around like the truth of who you are. And remember, when I talk about the truth of who you are, what we're talking about is God's truth, that divine truth. It's not how somebody else has defined you. It's not the criticisms that you heard growing up, or friends that bullied you or made fun of you. I mean, those things are not who you are. But a lot of times they shape how we feel about ourselves on really, really deep levels. And so what we need to do is recognize the difference between, you know, taking on somebody else's belief and the lies that become like our identity. And we need to release that and really connect into what God's truth is about us. And when we do that, well, I have to share, I was talking with a client, and she's in her 20s. She's so adorable. And we talked about this last week in our session. And I told her, you know, the way that your grandfather treated you, the way that your parents treated you, that has nothing to do with your worth. And it was such an amazing aha moment for her. And when we spoke this way, she was like, Jen, I was able to go to dinner with my family, and my parents were doing their thing, and I could just sit there and feel so peaceful and realize, you know, the way you're treating me right now has nothing to do with my worth. Has nothing to do with how God sees me. And it was this confidence that came out in this, you know, 22-year-old or 23-year-old, however old she is. And I was watching her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't have that confidence or that aha moment until I was in my 40s. And I thought, what a blessing to have that aha moment at any age, of course. But to be able to have that at such a young age, I mean, can you guys imagine, those of you who are my age or maybe a little older, to be able to have that understanding at such a young time in your life that other people don't define you, only God does. And God only defines us as amazing and good. And anyway, so that was such a great experience, and I just want to remind you guys of that, to really, really connect into the truth about who you are through God and through your heart, and allow Him to speak through your heart. That's my message for today. I thank you so much for being here, you guys. If you are interested in what I do, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer any questions for you. Please reach out to me, message me. You can email me at jenpolson@gmail.com. Happy to have a conversation with you. I love working with people and helping them overcome what's keeping them stuck and helping them reach their goals on a personal level and in their business, with their children. I mean, all of it is so interrelated. So you start healing one area of your life and everything in your life starts to get better. So that's my passion. I love helping other people be successful in any way that they want to be successful. I have a place for you. So in a group or in one-on-one coaching, there's a place for you, and I will take really good care of you. I tell the truth in my coaching. My clients will attest to that, especially the 3 that got out of their comfort zones yesterday and did their first Facebook Lives. That was amazing. I see my clients making just leaps and bounds of success steps, so people are happier in their marriages, they're more patient with their kids, they have more success in their businesses, they're attracting better clients and better, even those who are single are attracting better quality people to date, things like that. Everything gets better in life when you work on yourself. So give yourself that gift and give me a call, and I would love to work with you. So thanks for being here, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.